Imagine a story about your own history, your struggles, your heroes, your life, and more importantly, your image. And the person telling it isn't you.
You think the students over there are gonna be free now? Oh, they'll let you change your name to your college or your own name. Throw on a dashiki. Because guess what? They still gonna drag your black ass to Vietnam to shoot a pole rice farmer and get shot your damn self. That's the difference between revolution and the candy-coated facade of gradual reform.
Wait. Fred Hampton died at 21, but somehow they wanted a man in his 30s to play him? Okay, I get it, because the director is not even FBA. So it's okay to just get anybody to play our heroes. This is what's happening in Hollywood many times, from early blackface performances to white men playing Indians in Westerns. In the last decade, Hollywood has released several films about Black American historical figures being played by non-Black Americans. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use the term FBA, Foundational Black Americans, a Black person whose family has been in the United States for multiple generations, often tracing its roots back to the era of American slavery. And non-FBA refers to Black people who have no lineage connected to that American history. So when a non-FBA plays an FBA character, do we want to call that FBA face or cultural face? Either way, it raises questions because in this country, Black Americans have never had full control over their own image. This is why this is so important and bigger than someone just saying all races play different people. White English people play white Americans all the time, and so on and so on. See, you're someone who do not see the negative pattern that's been going on for years, for decades. So let me slowly break it down to you. Take a TV show like Insecure. It's about young Black women navigating their careers, relationships, and friendships in Los Angeles. The main character is played by Issa Rae, and she is playing a regular Black American, not a person who is half FBA. Not that that matters on a micro level, but on a macro level, this is part of a bigger plan. But she is representing a regular Black woman, and her best friend Molly is played by Yvonne Orji, a Nigerian American. I hope I can pronounce these names right. And scenes about their work events, their dating struggles, and their social gatherings portray experiences common to the FBA community.
Hola. Can I see your key card, please?
Oh, I don't have it with me.
Oh, no. I need to see it to give you a towel.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm staying here. I just literally got out of the pool.
Unfortunately, without your key card, I cannot give you a towel. Hotel policy.
Are you serious? Because the white people that just left did not need to show a key card.
Another main character is Tiffany Du Bois. Is played by Amanda Seales, another half FBA actress. Together, they all do a great job. Yet, despite this compelling storyline, the show is often treated as a representative of all Black Americans. We know that the lived experience of fully FBA and non-FBA individuals in America might share similarities, but for the most part, they are different. And we'll get into that later. But Insecure was a positive representation for young Black women, even though the main characters was not fully FBA. And that's no big deal, but Hollywood has a long history of doing this. While fully FBA actors were often limited to comic, stereotypical roles, non-FBA Black actors became the first to play powerful or influential roles. Actors like Sidney Poitier or Harry Belafonte. Both of these men are of Caribbean heritage, and there's nothing wrong with that. They played great leading roles or historic roles and authoritative figures. But because of the history of Hollywood's treatment of FBA actors, the question has to be asked. Why were the first two prominent Black male dramatic actors to cross over into mainstream movies not FBA? Why is this important? Because many people do not realize this. From 1950s all the way up to 2012, there was not a Black drama TV show. Pretty much every Black TV show was a comedy, other than, the series Roots. So basically, the majority of FBA actors were shucking, jiving, cooning, or playing a slave.
Well then, Toby. Yes, his name should be Toby.
Matter of fact, one of the earliest and most powerful characters on TV was Yaphet Kotto, where he portrayed a lieutenant on Homicide: Life on the Street. He commanded respect, authority, and setting a precedent for dignified portrayals of black characters. While these performances were groundbreaking, was it a coincidence that the respectable black characters were often filled by actors outside the fully black American experience? Or does it even matter? But it does matter if someone is behind the scenes orchestrating this. Let's see if there's a pattern. Hollywood historical non-FBA actors portraying black characters is nothing new. But what we had never seen before was non-FBA actors portraying historic black figures. And in the last decade, films have cast other non-FBA actors in the roles of iconic black Americans.
Yeah, fool, I'm serious.
In 2013, British actor Chiwetel Ejiofor portrayed Solomon Northup, a free man kidnapped into slavery in the movie 12 Years a Slave. And Lupita, of Kenyan Mexican descent, also starred in the movie. Matter of fact, the director was a black British man, Steve McQueen. And in 2019, British actress Cynthia Erivo, y'all hear me working hard on these names, played Harriet Tubman. Now this sparked some debate about her playing this role, but her performance received critical acclaim.
I'm gonna leave you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave you.
Damn, that voice ain't bad. I wonder if that's her real voice. And in 2021, Daniel Kaluuya, a Ugandan British actor, played Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah, about the Illinois Black Panther Party chapter. And don't get me wrong, I understand acting is just acting, and roles should go to whoever that can play them. But when Hollywood has a long history of portraying negative image of black people and shaping perceptions of black history and culture, every pattern has to be examined, especially when black Americans don't control the image. Take the era known as black exploitation. Even though many actors found work and often portrayed strong leading characters, most of the storylines focused on stereotypical portrayals of urban black American life. And this is something very important for immigrants to understand about black Americans. Being replaced in Hollywood is not just about acting or history. In real life, it's a reflection that has far more serious consequences and repercussions. See, there was a time in this country in black communities where there were black doctors, black-owned businesses, and black-owned thriving communities. But while the power structure preached integration, there was always a parallel plan in place to replace and control or outright eliminated FBA businesses. Tulsa Race Massacre 1921 and Rosewood is prime examples of this. But a more subtle process was in place to replace many of the FBA businesses with immigrants. See, many of the immigrants are taught that if you work hard, stay out of trouble, you can succeed in America. And that black people and the black community is in the position they're in because they're lazy and irresponsible. This is some of the things they're taught. But that's not the full story. In business and finance, immigrant entrepreneurs often receive preferential treatment from the banks, while FBA black people were denied. The banks, the institutions, the lenders opened their doors to non-FBA business owners while shutting the same doors to FBA. That's why when you walk through many of the black neighborhoods today, you'll see a pattern. Convenience stores, motels, nail shops, gas stations, beauty supply stores, cleaners, all owned by non-FBA. And this is why what Hollywood did is so important and was a slap in the face to the FBA, because in real life, they were replacing black businesses, which had an effect on generational wealth, jobs. The systematic barriers were baked in: redlining, lack of access to capital, and flat-out discrimination in the lending practices that kept FBA black people out of the loop. Economic power was handed to the outsiders, who then reinforced the narratives that kept them out, that kept regular black people out. That's why you see this. They want to tell us it's because we don't stick together or we don't work hard. That's not the case, because culture and economics are connected. And when one is controlled, the other follows. Now, we don't have a problem with these minorities coming in, these other minorities or these immigrants coming in with the businesses and taking over the businesses if it happened organically. FBA, we don't have a problem. We like seeing people succeed. But in many cases, the change was not organic. It was part of a plan to destroy communities. And sometimes it's so subtle that you don't even notice the change in taking places. They've been doing this a long time. Take back in the early 20th century, black leaders like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and W.E. Du Bois fought for rights through education and religious institutions. They challenged the system from within the system. So it's fair to say the first prominent black person to openly challenge the system and organize black people in modern times was a non-FBA black person, Marcus Garvey. But at the same time, Harlem was the most powerful black city in America, and two of the most influential black figures were non-FBA, especially on the grassroots level. Garvey was from the West Indies, rose to prominence and organized mass movements that influenced black communities globally. And on the streets, figures like Madame St. Clair, also a non-FBI, navigated complex power networks and even worked with the mafia to rise to the top. Now, was this organic? Was it because these two were great at what they do? Marcus Garvey was great. But is that the reason why immigrants keep coming into black communities and taking over certain entities? Or are we really that bad? Or are there forces secretly working behind the scenes, pushing specific agendas? Think about this. For decades, almost all the prominent FBA black leaders who received most of the media attention either came from the entertainment industry or the religious world. Why are black people the only group with religious leaders in this way? And why are black people the only group where entertainers end up becoming the leaders? Like what they're trying to do with the rappers now.
Like, who are the black leaders now?
Right.
Many will say it's the rappers and shit like that.
In this country, if you look at it, America, the most powerful country in the world, has had only two black people hold high offices, President Obama and Vice President Kamala Harris. And neither one is fully FBI. Neither one has any connections back to slavery. Did that happen organically? Now, it doesn't take away from their achievements, but it highlights a subtle pattern in which immigrants have quietly shaped the experience and opportunities for FBA communities over time. And in many cases, this has left some of us feeling so insecure that we're just happy to see a black face in the position. Or should we call it a cultural face or FBA face? Whatever the case, many of these immigrants hold negative perceptions of FBA black people, and they have no clue. Or some of them maybe just don't care what the government did when they created gangs, moved drugs and weapons into our communities. And the wicked part is they often use immigrants to do these negative things. Jamaicans, Dominicans, Colombians, Mexicans, even European criminal organizations help funnel drugs and guns in black communities. Meanwhile, their news media and their TV shows portrayed it like this chaos was just normal life in the black community. Take the #1 show of all time of urban life, HBO's The Wire.
Omar. Omar coming, yo. Omar coming, yo. Did you hear that? Omar coming. Come on. Get out of here, yo. Omar coming. Put that shit down. I said Omar coming. Somebody is coming now. Come on, let's go. Yeah.
Maybe this is a big city thing. I grew up in a small city where bullies are not tolerated. Omar and Debo from the movie Friday, they wouldn't have lasted a day in my city because people do not play with bullies. And I know this is just TV, but The Wire, it was widely regarded as one of the most authentic portrayals of urban FBA life. While it featured many FBA characters, some of its most notable, stoic, or composed figures were non-FBA. Chris Partlow, a drug influencer, was played by a Nigerian-American, Banga Akinakbe. Stringer Bell, a calculating drug dealer, was played by British actor Idris Elba. And Marlon Stanfield, a ruthless kingpin, was portrayed by Jamie Hector, who comes from a Haitian lineage. Now, these characters navigate crime, loyalty, and survival within the Baltimore neighborhoods. I mean, Stringer Bell was considered the brains behind the Barksdale organization, even taking business classes at the local college. And Marlo Stanfield was a smart, calculating player. So why is it that the black street guys considered to be thinkers seem to be non-FBA? And that's not to say many black immigrants do not understand or haven't lived the experience. This means that while the portrayals were detailed and believable, they were still filtered through the perspectives outside of the Black American experience. Don't get me wrong, it was authentic, that was there, but it was partial. And many times these actors receive praise for their realistic roles. And I'm not saying every actor has to be FBA to play a FBA character, but you damn sure should not be playing a negative stereotypical role of a FBA person if you're not FBA. See, blackface wasn't wrong simply because it was white man portraying black characters. It was harmful because many times these portrayals reinforce negative stereotypes. They played rapists, killers, and other damaging images. And I'm sorry, I have a problem with non-FBA actors portraying negative stereotypes of black Americans, just like I have a problem with black Americans doing it.